I'm Tom, and let's talk about the Nick Ball fight on the weekend. He won, and he did look good, right? He looked good in that fight. Did he look like a world beater? No. Should he have been disqualified? Absolutely. And let's start with that, because that's quite a statement, right? He won the fight in fairly impressive fashion. It wasn't like he looked amazing, but he definitely didn't look poor. But let's have it right. Kicking someone, kneeing, and then kicking someone after the bell. I don't even know if it was after the bell. I'm pretty sure it was after the bell. But anyway, you need someone to kick someone in the middle of a boxing fight. Now, he had a dead leg. He could have been affected his movement. That should have been a DQ. If we're going to play this game in boxing of we disqualify people for actions after the bell or actions that aren't just, which I'm not disagreeing with, but if we're going to play this game, then let's play it fairly. And if you're going to kick someone, if you're going to admit to kneeing and kicking someone in a boxing fight, when you're going to get under someone's skin, that's the whole point, then you should have been disqualified. And I like Nick Ball. I think he's really fun to watch. His come forward style is really fun to watch. But he led with his head more times than I can count in that fight. He was headbutting people. He led with his head more times than I can count. And he admitted to kneeing and kicking someone, which there's no place for that in boxing, in my opinion. You absolutely should not be doing that. Absolutely should not be doing that. He was very lucky to not get disqualified. And if he was disqualified, I mean, certainly a point taken. I don't think he could really argue. I don't think anyone could really argue. But he got away with it scot-free. And this goes to show the corruption in boxing, the favouritism in boxing, because if it was the other way around, I'm sure it would have been different. And it's just not okay in any way. It's really not. I don't think that should be happening. And then he won. And now people are calling for the Inoue fight. Let's have it right. Inoue would wipe the floor with him. I like Nick Ball. I think he's good. There's a reason they call Inoue the monster. That nickname's not for no reason. You fight Inoue, you're going to lose. He should not be fighting Inoue. And as I say, I like Nick Ball. He's a Scouser. He's from the UK. He's British. He's English. I like him. But he's just not on the same level as Inoue. Who should he fight? Not Inoue. Try and become, get the belts in your division, unify, become undisputed, and then you look at going up. Going up to fight Inoue now, and by the way he fights, leading with his head, that kick, if that happens in Japan against Inoue, he gets disqualified. If he tries something like that in Japan against Inoue, you're not seeing the end of that fight. They'll stop it. They'll give you a DQ because that's not boxing. That's against the rules. You shouldn't be doing that. So if you try it, you're going to get disqualified. Rightly so. So to sit here and say that he's ready for the Inoue fight, and I'm hearing so many people say it. It's a super fight. Look, what it does is it draws a big portion of casual fans. And actually, Inoue is a big name in Japan. So it probably is a big fight and it makes a lot of money. But I just think Nick Ball's not ready for Inoue. And there's no disrespect to Nick Ball. I rate him. I think he's really good. But again, there's a reason they call him the monster. And he's not at that standard, in my opinion, just yet. That's not to say he won't be. That's not to say he can't be. But he's a long way from that. And what he would become is another Inoue victim. That's what would happen. I think he'd stop him. I think that come forward, high pressure style would suit Inoue. And whilst Nick Ball has a very impressive gas tank, which he does, and I'm not disputing, so does Inoue, and Inoue's Inoue. I think stylistically that wouldn't work. That wouldn't be a good way to fight Inoue, and we'd see it go the way of Inoue breaking him down and getting to him. Maybe a couple of points deductions if he keeps leading with his head. If he keeps leading with his head, if he tries to throw Inoue around like that, kick him and knee him after the bell, it's just not going to work. You might get disqualified. You're going to get a couple of points taken off. It's not going to work. You're going to be another Inoue victim. So for me, not that. Try and unify. Try and become undisputed in your division. clean up your boxing a little bit, because I like boxing and I like netball, but I don't like what I saw. That's that. On that, people, I am now on podcast. I'm on Apple Podcast and I'm on Spotify Podcast. We'll try and get onto Amazon Music as well. If there's any other platforms, let me know. So feel free to listen to me on podcast, Spotify, Amazon. It's just Thomas Gamble. The series is called Tom Talks Sport, the usual things. Anything else I want to do, people, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how YouTube works, people. Peace.